I don't even know the author of the book.
But that's good.
Something
Let's pull that up.
I was just looking at all these reviews.
Karen Thompson Walker.
Oh, yeah.
And I just need to know who all the characters are really quick.
Julia.
Who's the boy, though, that she has, like, the thing
Seth.
with? Thank you. That's the main thing I couldn't remember was his name.
Because he was terrible.
We're back! Hi, guys. Welcome to Go Read a Book.
Welcome. It's been like 20 years.
It's been like 1.5 seasons. This is season 1.5, which is going to consist of 2 episodes. We are so happy to be back. It's been a very long time, and there are reasons for that. We're just not completely MIA and lazy. Of course, there were the holidays. Yeah. There was work. We all got to keep our day jobs, right? But there's
Tiffany's
also
been living the gangster life.
But Moira has been
cooking a baby.
What?
It's a lot of work, you know. I sit on the couch a lot, throw up a lot.
Yeah, Moira has been so sick. She's had all-day sickness for so long.
So it's all my fault why we've been gone for so long.
We're excited. There's another little reader on the way.
Yeah.
And what are you due?
August 22nd. Okay.
And you recently found out the sex.
Yeah, it's a little girl. So we're gonna have like a little mini me on the couch in like 10 years.
So anyway,
this interesting book that, this was all Tiffany's idea. Like, I'm not taking credit for this book at all.
She hated it. What are the chances?
The ending, no, I'm just kidding. No, the whole book was pretty bad. It
no.
wasn't even just the ending. Yeah.
So the book we read was The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker. I quite enjoyed it.
Why?
I loved the concept.
Well, the concept is cool, but it would have been better if, like, tell someone to say Stephen King writing it. I'm like, yeah.
I read something about that it's technically not a YA. Okay, motorcycle.
I know, because she was talking back, like, in her 20s, right?
Right, like, this had happened a decade ago, basically. More than a decade,
More than a decade, but she was literally, like, 5 years old.
She was 10.
When we talk about her age, I was like, what? How old is this girl?
She was 10 and she turned 11 during the book. That's what it was.
I have a big problem with how old she was. Like, that was just one of many things.
Absolutely, I'm with you. I feel like 12, 13 would have been a more
appropriate age. Yeah.
Like a 10-year-old, you're so caught between childhood and adolescence. But that's why it's called The Age of Miracles. It's because everybody's going through these
Oh my God, are we talking about the title? Like, the title is like, you expect something, one thing to be positive in this book. Nothing is positive. There are like literally no miracles happening in this book at all. Like, no miracles.
Well, a miracle isn't always necessarily a positive thing.
Okay. What is one miracle that happened in this book?
The world slowed down. That shouldn't have happened. And then she hit puberty, right? That's the idea. It's a very short sentence when she talks about Age of Miracles is when, you know, boys started getting taller and some girls started becoming beautiful. It's literally talking about puberty.
I thought it was an extremely misleading title.
She has no buy-in.
No. I just was waiting, and maybe it was like, we were talking about this earlier, like the points where we are in our lives. Also, I will say that I started reading this like many moons ago when there was like a big storm in LA. So I was freaked out when I was reading, and there's like all these storms happening, and I'm like, oh man.
There were some like
Second
conceptual
coming.
So here's the thing though, I thought it was very interesting how there are multiple reactions to something crazy like this going on. For one, you know, the world's crops start dying when the slowing begins.
And the birds.
The birds, which is weird because like 5 or 10 years ago there was like a weird bird thing in the Midwest. Remember when all those birds died?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made me think of that, the stuff with the
That's
birds.
probably how she got the idea of the book,
Maybe.
she was drunk in the Midwest.
Maybe. And then, of course, sleep patterns were changed, and people turn to different things to cope. Some people say, no, we're gonna stick to the 24-hour schedule, which is what the government says. Some people turn to religion and go, okay, this is the end of the world, we're gonna flee.
That was an interesting aspect.
It was. And then there's like the hippies. We're gonna sleep for 40 hours and stay awake for 40 hours.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna evolve quick enough to make that work.
To me, it just seemed like the slowing came out of nowhere, and I feel like for that to just happen like that was just weird, and how, like, it just didn't make really any sense.
So that's why it's science fiction.
And then it rapidly happened, and then there's like no explanation at the end, and they just like, did it stop slowing?
Yeah, she doesn't explain that.
No.
She doesn't. You're like, and what? What you were speaking to about her age in the book, I do feel like was somewhat of a cop-out for the author, because I feel like she had this concept for a book, and I think that she didn't want to do the scientific research. For instance, if you've read The Martian, that book for like the first third of it is all science, and it almost lost me until it didn't lose me.
It's a good book.
It's fantastic, but at first it was so scientific that I just didn't care. I was like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, get to the like juicy stuff, like the hard stuff, you know?
Hair break.
I feel in some ways like it was a cop-out that she used someone younger to tell this story because she didn't have to delve into the science deeper.
She didn't know.
Yeah, a 10-year-old doesn't know these things. What did you think about the whole deal with the dad and the
Oh my god, you were gonna say that? And you know I hated it so much. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
The piano teacher.
The piano teacher was just weird. I actually wrote that down. Like, that pissed me off. One, you know I hate cheating.
Yeah.
But two, didn't get the chance because I was like just on a roll of how much
you got too mad about
this. But, and then he just came back.
I know.
And then it just was like nothing happened. And he didn't fess up to it. Like, when he came back and she's like, oh, we're all happy again. And even though she just saw him leave with the piano teacher, and you're like, that doesn't seem right. And I feel like it might be happy now, but maybe 10 years from now, something's gonna come out. Like, you can't keep something like that a secret. You will never be truly happy if that stuff is just swept under the rug. Like, if he came out and said something, he's like, oh, I had this, I apologize, or like, because of this, there's so much going on. Like, okay, that's one thing, but it's like, for it not to be even talked about, like, that trust is gone. That's just like, my soul's sorry.
I was pissed at that piano teacher though. Like, how dare she?
Yeah.
Like, interrupt someone else's family and marriage and life.
I agree.
How dare she? I don't care like what your problems are in life to interrupt someone else's life like that. There's something wrong with you if you do that. There's something wrong with you psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, on a human level. There's something wrong with you if you interrupt somebody else's life like that. So cheating piano teachers everywhere, get out.
Yeah. I don't even know if there was like a plot. It was just like, and it read more like a memoir than a novel, where there was like a thing of life that it like really, people were like, oh my god, this affected me more than the Da Vinci Code, and this affect. I'm like,
I don't know about that.
What? Like, none of the characters I thought were like entertaining. They were all just miserable and like negative, and there was like no positivity behind it.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot, but I mean, imagine if we were in this apocalyptic stage. I don't think that a lot of us would be walking around being like, what's next? I think it forces you to live in the moment when you're facing tragedy.
This girl literally had nothing good going on in her life. Like, absolutely nothing, because she is 11 years old in like a relationship with a guy.
Yeah.
And then literally, he's like, boom, dead.
Wait, did Seth die? Oh yeah, I forgot, Seth died.
He was like, it was like slow. The pacing was so slow. I mean, every page, I'm like, oh my god, something's good has gotta happen. Nothing good, like even the grandfather. Now she really has nothing. Like, the little shred of positivity that she had in her life with Seth, which is kind of weird. I don't know. It was so slow. The pacing was so slow, and then the rush death of Seth. That was like annoying.
That's really funny that you just said the pacing was so slow.
It was so slow.
The book is about the slowing.
But
okay, so here's what it boils down to. I enjoyed this book. I did listen to it on audiobook. Maybe reading it, where you're the one having to narrate the book basically yourself to yourself, could take more time. You know, it does have some slow pacing. But when you're in the car,
was the voice good?
She was a great reader.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a very good reader. And when I'm going from point A to point B and it takes half an hour, I'm going to be listening for that half an hour. So maybe in this case, audiobook might be the way to go.
We're not reading it. I'm just kidding.
So you would not recommend this book?
No. I mean, but there's like, it's so funny because people really do love this book. So it's something that like, I mean, it's the same thing probably with the Neil Gaiman book where people loved it. But also I think it's just like where you are in your life. I was in a very sick place.
And do you guys notice a trend in Go Read a Book? One of us loves it and the other one hates it. It's like the norm. The next book we're going to be reading on Go Read a Book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
This is a pretty book.
It's beautiful. It's a
I had to buy this on my Nook.
Did you? Your Kindle?
Kindle, whatever. Because I was going on a trip and I needed it. Oh, yeah, that's right. But you're so good at that. So I think this is one of those books that like is better probably in a nice book form.
Maybe. And it's also one of those books that you probably want to have on your bookshelf. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like very
so you
famous.
Look smart. Everyone knows.
It's all
The Alchemist.
This has been fun. We're happy to be back.
Yeah.
I would say read The Age of Miracles. Moira would say... Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and we will be chatting with you sooner than later.
Yeah. Bye. Bye, guys. I don't know why I always do the double wave. Like,
what is
I don't know. Woo! Oh, my back.
Oh no. That's staying in.
Oh, my neck.